Hello fellow friends, so this is the first in a series I'm starting about the Delphic Maxims, and are they relevant today? So the Delphic Maxims are inscribed at Delphi and are said to have been delivered by Apollo himself, and they serve as guidelines for living for many in the Hellenic community. So I'm going to look at all 147, and we're going to talk about each and every one of them and see what that would mean to us in the 21st century. Of course, this is all opinion, and I'm going to read it as I go, and there are many translations to all of the maxims depending on what kind of translation you're looking at. So I may say one of them differently than what you've heard, but it's just the translation I've been looking at. So we're going to look at them and then see if they apply and what they mean to us today. So like I said, so the Delphic Maxims are basically, a lot of people incorrectly like to say that they're the Ten Commandments to Hellenists. I don't like saying that they're the Ten Commandments to us, or comparing the Maxims to the Ten Commandments, because they're like completely different things. But a lot of people do take them just as seriously as Christians take the Ten Commandments, where they live by these maxims. So we're going to, like I said, on this episode, we're going to look at the first 10. I'm going to break them down to 10, I think, on every episode, and see what they mean to me, and see if they actually apply to life in the 21st century, at least in my case. Okay? So we're going to start off with number 1, and the first maxim is follow God. So that's always number 1 in the commandments. In any list, it's always usually put God first, and that's what it's trying to say here. But for it to be Greek, they're not talking about Yahweh or the Christian God. When they say follow God, it's Zeus, because Zeus was God. If there was God, it was Zeus, and so follow Zeus. So live an upright life, make and honor the gods, and honor, that's another maxim, but go ahead and it ties into that. Honor and live a life that would make Zeus, that would be respectable to God. So, like I said, everything you think of when it comes to following God, when anyone says that, it applies to us as well. And I still think that's really relevant today, that you want to think and live your life honorable to God or Zeus. Just live an honorable life, which is what these maxims are about. So it's a good place to start. Okay? So number 2 was obey the law, which is obvious still today. We want to obey the law because there are many reasons for that. Chaos would happen if we didn't, and we would be dead or in jail if we didn't as well. So that's an obvious one. So number 3 comes in and ties into the first, and number 3 of the maxims is worship the gods. I've seen translations say to respect the gods, and worship and respect fall hand in hand. So live your life, and what you see in life and what you receive in life, you want to thank the gods for. If it weren't for the gods, we would have nothing. So that's what you got to think of when you think of respect the gods. Thank them for the beauty, thank them for life, thank them for your marriage, children, everything we have. Worship and thank the gods for. So number 4 is respect your parents. This is a lot. This is a lot to ask of some people, to respect their parents if they've had parents who are in jail, parents who have abused them. It's a hard one to live up to. But respecting your parents, just for the fact that you wouldn't exist without them. So you got to at least respect them enough that if you love your life, to respect them, that they were able to at least get together, hopefully give you something to eat growing up, and at least giving you life, that you wouldn't be having 2 ears to hear and 2 eyes to see if not for your parents getting together. So that much respect can be given to your parents. All right, so the next one I think is 5, is be overcome by justice. So I looked up the definition of overcome, because what is overcome by justice? What would that mean? So the definition of overcome, not to surprise you, means to be overwhelmed. And what does overwhelmed mean? It means to be buried or drowning in, figuratively, of course. So to be buried or drowning in justice. What is justice? Justice is just behavior. What is just behavior? It's being in conformity with what is morally upright and good. So basically, to be overcome by justice is to be a good person, is to break it down. And that definitely is good advice. And that ties back into obeying the law. So you notice that these things start just really connecting and falling into each other. So definitely be a good person by being overcome by justice, being a morally upright person. Number 6 is know what you've learned. So when you learn something, whether spiritually in books, know it. Like, get it in your head. Know what you've learned. Take it with you, and don't forget what you've learned also can be added to that. Because it's going to make you a better person. You're going to know more, be more knowledgeable, and it's going to make your life a little easier. So always retain as much knowledge as you can. Perceive what you've heard. So think about what people tell you. Don't just jump on people and react to what someone said without actually thinking about it first, is the next one. So perceive what you've heard. That's actually really good advice. And probably the most famous maxim is next, and that is know yourself. Know who you are. Be yourself. Respect and honor yourself. And do not deny who you are. Really take a look on the inside and see who you think you are and who you know you are. And just live that way. Just really live to be you. And that's the theme of the 21st century, I think, so far, is that this new age of being yourself, knowing yourself. So this one is really relevant today. So I can see why a lot of people say that know yourself is the big one in these maxims. All right. So number 9 is intend to get married. So this is one that's not so much a mandatory thing nowadays, but to be married in the past was expected because you would have children and stability. But nowadays, some people don't want to get married. Some people, when they're born, when they're 5 years old, they just dream of being husbands and wives. Some of them want to be bachelors and single for the rest of their lives. So we got to look at it like, what does it mean to intend to be married? What does married mean? So when you think of a married person, you think of someone that's in love. You think of someone who is mature, who is stable. So intend to be mature, stable, and loving. You can look at it that way instead of, if you don't want to look at it as intend to get married today. And then finally, know your opportunity. So like they say, when opportunity presents itself, you want to take it. So when you're at work, especially and that doesn't mean know your opportunity to get back at somebody necessarily. I look at it as a good way, like know yourself, know your opportunity. Like when you're at work and you know there's a promotion coming, jump on that. Know when good things are about to happen and just take it and don't let it pass you by. Don't let the good things in life pass you by. So know your opportunities. So that was the first 10 Delphic Maxims, and I'm going to go through all of them. Like I said, probably breaking them up in 10s, talk a little bit about each and every one as we go along. And I hope you guys keep listening, and I hope you guys comment and subscribe so we can talk more about it. And I'll talk to you later, guys. Go with the gods, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.